Happy last episode of our Miss Byrd Believes in Books. How are you guys doing? How are you doing on this magnificent Saturday morning? I didn't do one yesterday because I kind of have a little special surprise. I actually have an additional episode, okay? So this is like part one, and then we're going to have a part two in a little while, okay? So this is officially not the last episode. We're going to have a little mini episode after this one, okay? So, when I found that out that I have a special guest coming, I decided to wait and do it on Saturday. But I have another special guest. I'm up here just rambling about a special guest coming, and I already have a special guest. Hey, Pete. How you doing? I'm so glad you joined us. Tell Pete, everybody, hey, tell him hey. Well, Pete decided to join us because I'm going to be reading a story about a little boy who taught his cats to read. And Pete thought that would be kind of, he might want to learn how to read. So he thought he might want to listen and, learn about how to read. And this particular story, I have been holding this book back for this day because the setting is summertime. I got this book a couple of years ago. I love this story. And as soon as I got it, I just fell in love with it. It's called The Summer Nick Taught His Cats to Read. And I just love that title. And it is a 3.0. It's a half a point. The quiz number is 184256. And here's the cover. And here's Nick. And here's his cats. Now, what can you determine, or what can you guess about those cats just by looking at that cover? Look at that one. He's all snuggled up there to Nick and looks like he's content and satisfied. And then look at this one. He's got his face up in the air and he's not paying attention. So, let's find out about when Nick taught his cats to read. The author is Curtis Manley. And hold on. Part of the other is covered up by a sticker. Curtis Manley and illustrated by Kate Byrd. Oh, look at there. Look at the title page. I like that. The Summer Nick Taught His Cats to Read. Nick had two cats, Vernon and Stevenson. I'm sorry, Pete, that I'm putting the book in front of you, but in order for me to show our boys and girls, I'm going to have to do that, and I'm so sorry. So here, let me show Pete real quick. They spent summers doing everything together, but when Nick sat down with the book, the cats had their own ideas. So here they are, riding bikes, playing in the pool, camping out. But then when Nick read, look at this one. He's upside down on the book. This one's licking himself, bathing himself, I bet. Did you see that one, Pete? Let's see if Pete can see it from this way. Hold on. There we go. And then I can look at it that way. All right. So Nick decided to teach them to read. He started with easy words. Ball, said Nick. B-A-L-L. But the cats just wanted to play. The cats just wanted to play with ball. They didn't want to learn what ball meant. Look at them. Now, it hasn't really said which one is which yet. We're going to find out, though. At lunchtime, Nick pointed at the word food. You see that, Pete? See the word food? Wake up, said Nick after they fell asleep. This is no time for an NAP. Nap. His cats did not like that at all. So here they are, and he woke them up from a NAP. Look at that, Pete. Do you get grumpy after you wake up from a nap? Yeah. I bet you do. So Nick made new flashcards, and Vern got interested. So here's Vern. Okay, Vern is the gold one, but not Stevenson. Stevenson just said, and crawled under the bed. So here's Vern. Vern, actually, he's bringing it over to Nick. And Stevenson, it's like, that's not for me. I don't care about that. Oh, I'm sorry, Pete. What would you, Pete? What would you do, Pete? Would you be interested, or would you go crawl under the bed? Probably depends on your mood, huh? Nick tried nursery rhymes next. When he read Three Little Kittens, Vern searched everywhere for mittens. But not Stevenson. Then Nick read his favorite books to Vern, who liked stories about cats and stories about fish. Vern loved fish. He followed along as Nick read, learning the sounds of the letters. So look, here is Stevenson. And Vern, he's following along. He's loving that. Vern practiced on his own over and over, even after Nick went to bed. Soon he was reading new stories all by himself. The next morning, Nick tried once more. F-I-S-H. See? Fish. Vern loves that word. Don't you? But Stevenson said, meow, and ran under the porch. He hissed at Nick and Vern. So here's Vern. He's reading on his own. Here's Stevenson. Look at his face. He hissed at him when he hid under the porch. That's a cat for you. You know where my cat is right now? My Juju that gets in all of our videos? Outside. And she will not come. I call and call and call. And you know when she'll come? When she feels like it. And I did not want her to be an outside cat. I do not like her being out there because I'm afraid something's going to happen to her. But she is determined to go outside and spend a little bit of time outside. So I just have to pray that nothing happens to her. So I let her go out, and then she so far has been coming back. She's pretty good about coming when I call her most of the time. But some of the time, like when she's first gone out, when she first goes out, she don't want to come back right away. All right, back to our story. Vern got his own library card and borrowed so many books that Nick could hardly carry them home. So here's Vern, and he went to the library, and he got his own library card. Look at that. The cat got a library card. And that looks like that must be Nick's dad. When they discovered a story they both liked, they acted out their favorite scenes. They dug up fish fossils in the flower bed. They bounced across the surface of the moon. It was fun, but it would have been more fun with who? Stevenson. So here's Nick and Vern doing all those things that they're learning about in a book. But they said it would have been more fun if their buddy Stevenson had been participating and helping out and having fun with them. You like that, Pete? They are funny cats, aren't they? Then Vern discovered a treasure under the bed, a great stack of Stevenson's pirate drawings. Wow, Nick whispered. Stevenson drew a story. We should write the words, said Nick. Vern helped. So under the bed, they found where Stevenson had drawn all of these pictures about pirates. So they decided, since he liked to draw and they liked to read and write, they would put the words to the pictures. And sometimes that's how a book happens, right? You have someone that's really good at writing, and you have someone that's really good at drawing pictures, and you put a book together. And then in some cases, that person might do both. Like Dr. Seuss, Mark Brown. There's a lot of people that are the author and the illustrator. When they have done, they squeezed under the porch, gave Stevenson an eye patch, and they read the tale of one-eyed Stevenson and the pirate gold. Stevenson listened and followed along. He didn't run away or hiss, not even once. So Nick and Vern took him to the library to find more books. So there they go, and they gave him, they read the book they had made. They gave him a patch, and this time he listened. So now, Nick and Vern took him to the library to find more books. Yeah, all of these look like they're pirate books. This is Ho, Yo Ho Ho, Walk the Plank, Millions of Rats, Mutiny, Peg Leg Jim. So they went to the library and looked in the books about pirates because they know that's what he's interested in. The next morning, when Nick woke up, Stevenson already had his whiskers in a book. Look at Stevenson. All of those books, and he was already reading those books about pirates. I'm sorry, Pete, did I skip a page with you? There they are. They were reading to him, and then they went to the library, and now he's at home reading the books about pirates. When Vern and Nick needed help fighting pirates, Stevenson found a sword too. "Welcome aboard, matey!" Nick yelled. "Step lively!" Nick and Vern rounded up 2 scurvy mutineers, and Stevenson held them at bay. So, now they're acting out the books, or one of the books. Then Nick and Vern climbed the mast and looked out over the treasure island, and when Nick yelled, "Land ho!" Stevenson was right there with them. Then they all hurried down and waded ashore, and it was Stevenson who found the buried treasure. So they're pretending, look, they're pretending like this is the ship, and that's the mast. And so, look, they're looking for the treasure, and Stevenson found it. Now Nick and his cats hunt for dinosaurs in the lost world behind the garden. They race around the yard in 80 seconds. They journey to the center of the basement. So Nick and his cats do all of these things that come about from ideas from books. So here they are acting out something from a dinosaur book. This is a book called Around the World in 80 Days. Okay. Sometimes Vernon and Stevenson curl up with their own books, and sometimes Nick reads to them while they close their eyes and purr. But Nick also likes it when someone reads to him. "Maybe I should teach you how to speak," he says to his cats. How hard could that be? So sometimes they curl up and have their own books, and they like it when Nick reads to them. But then who else likes to be read to? Nick likes to be read to himself. So then he has the idea, well, maybe I'll just teach you guys to read. What does Stevenson say? Meow. And that is the summer Nick taught his cats to read. So, if you have some cats or some dogs, or if you just have some stuffed animals and you like to play school, or you don't have to play school, you can just get some books and sit them down in front of you and read to them. There's an expression that says the best way to learn something is to teach it to somebody else. So the best way that you can practice your reading this summer is for you to read to others. So you could read to your mama, you could read to your grandma, you could read to your baby brother or sister. Guess what? And maybe they don't even know how to talk. I read to McKinley a lot. She doesn't understand everything I'm saying. She doesn't talk yet, but that's okay because she will eventually. And that's the way they learn, is they learn language by hearing others use words. So, and then that gets you practicing with your reading. So I wore my read shirt one more time, and the reason is to remind you to read this summer. I'm not your teacher, okay? I'm not telling you what level to read. I'm not sure exactly what your teachers have encouraged you or told you what level to read. But if they haven't, I would just kind of stick with what you were working on at the end of the year, okay? And it's always, you can go up a little bit. And if you have problems with that, ask, an adult, ask an older sibling or, a cousin or something like that to help you if you are struggling with a word or a phrase. So never be afraid to choose something that's a little bit higher. And if it's too high and you just really want to hear that book, ask somebody to read it to you. Remember, I've told you that before, that don't be afraid of a higher level book just because maybe you can't read it. Someone can read it to you. And I have done that on many occasions to my students, is I've read 6th and 7th grade level books to my 4th graders. And then I would just kind of like explain things to them as I went along. So that's just, Miss Byrd is just asking you to read. The recommended amount of time is, some people say 15 minutes. Some research says 20 minutes. So somewhere between 15 and 20 minutes a day. If you just do it, at least a few times a week, that will keep your practice going. That will keep the momentum going. And then when you go back to school in August, then it's not as hard to catch up, okay? If you just go the whole summer and you haven't read anything, then it makes it a little more difficult to, start back over. So I know that you have books, maybe some old books from last year. You know how you like to watch old movies and you watch them over and over again. do the same thing with books. If you're able, go to the public library and check out books. If you have friends or neighbors and maybe they have books and you have books, do a book swap. You can look at their books and then, y'all take a time where you swap some books or something other with your parents' permission, okay? But I just want to encourage you to take some time each day or each couple of days to read and keep those brain cells popping and flowing, so that when you go back to school it's a lot easier to pick up where you left off. Okay, I will miss you guys, but I will see you one more time. I told you I have a surprise. So today is going to be our last day, but I kind of decided I'd do a little surprise for you. And I hope you enjoyed our guest, our surprise guest. And Pete, tell everybody bye-bye. Tell them to have a great summer. Now, Pete won't be back with us, okay? But we will have another surprise guest, okay? All right. Bye, guys.